I'm Dhanashree Date, and I have been living in Japan for past 22 years, and I'm a yoga instructor by profession. And I was volunteering for Tokyo 2020 at Tokyo International Forum, and the major sport was weightlifting there. So in 2018, I had another great unique experience where I went on a voyage, a real voyage on a boat. The organization was Peace Boat, and then I had applied for a volunteership there, and I got it. And I was just traveling for 1.5 months. We visited 10 countries, and I was it was called as communication coordinator, the role. And I was a bridge between the activists, the speakers that came on the boat, and the Japanese people, so the non-Japanese activists and the Japanese tourists. That was a great experience, and then I was very much interested in volunteering activities later, and this great opportunity came, and I just applied for the volunteership for Olympics. I had applied around 2018 October or November, and then around 19, so it was, the application process was all online. There were a few forms, the questionnaire was very detailed as to why you would like to go for volunteering, and have you ever volunteered before, or what kind of sports would you like to apply for, or what are your interests of activities during the volunteering, and whether you want to be with the athletes or backstage or technical. It was a huge a variety of options. And then there were a few interviews. After I was accepted as a volunteer, we had some interviews. I was accepted as a bilingual volunteer, and then they invited me for the interview. So there were 4 interviews, I guess, at different places from different people. There used to be like 4 or 5 people, and then you go and then you talk about it. The interviews seemed to be very simple, just maybe conversing in Japanese, whether they just wanted to know whether how much you can converse, or what kind of person you are. They would also, there was a very interesting question: how would you define yourself emotionally? Who would ask that question? It was interesting. This was happening during 2019, before COVID, and then after COVID everything came to a standstill. Then the games were postponed, and we never knew if the games are going to happen again. So I had applied for the option where you get to talk with athletes, where you get to communicate more with athletes, and so I wanted to be a source of communication in between the athletes and the officials. That was my interest. Firstly, it started with the trainings we had, and I have also, by the way, applied for Paralympics, and the training that we were given was both for both Olympics and Paralympics. So especially I was very touched with the kind of trainings we got, how to deal with the athletes. There was so much importance given to their mental health, because it was that time that I realized that a human being is performing something at the best of his ability, and it was kind of like the best in the world. He's giving out everything, he or she, of course, and then I'm there to help them after they have achieved what they are striving for. So just being aware of that, they also made us aware during the training about all of this, or the Paralympics, that we are never supposed to help athletes unless asked for. We are never supposed to touch the wheelchairs. We are never supposed to, they shouldn't for a second feel the sense of pity. They are physically challenged, but they are at the superior most level of the human ability. So it was amazing. There were a few roles in the victory ceremony team. So we, for example, the athlete escort or the presenter escort. Athlete escort is the one that I was talking about, that you brief the athletes before the ceremony. You take them on the stage. Then there were 3 photo sessions, and then you guide them through each photo session and then take them away from the stage. So you are the athlete escort. And then there was a presenter escort where you must have seen the IOC and the IF presenters who take the medals and the bouquets. So this time, especially because of the pandemic, no one was supposed to touch the medal. So the presenter escort would brief the presenters about that. You are not supposed to touch the medals. Please hold the tray this way, because it was a fan-shaped tray. Unless you hold the tray from down, it wouldn't look beautiful. When you are walking, you should have 1 meter distance in between even the presenter escort and the first presenter and the next presenter, the bouquet one. So it was like usual Japanese style komakai koto. So those things were very interesting. Then there was when we also held the trays, we were supposed to wear white gloves. So in any case, it was amazing that no one is touching the medals directly. Very, very unique micromanagement, and we are like so used to being in the culture, and the more we look into it, the more we are impressed by how effortlessly they manage all these things. Since it was unique in the way that there is a Japanese culture and they have their own way of handling things, right? And then there are athletes from the entire world, and they have very, very different cultures, and many of the people didn't even know neither Japanese nor English, and then there was no way of communicating. So sometimes there were instances where no one would understand anything, and then there is a little bit of chaos on the stage. And during that time, especially being an Indian, that's why most of the times I was made an athlete escort, because being an Indian, we are so used to handling chaotic things. We can be very calm. We can at least pretend to be very calm, because there was a procedure where first time the athletes are not wearing the masks, but they are away from each other. So that is the first photo session. Second time they come together, but they are wearing the masks because they are close together. And third time they are in front of the podium, and again they will wear the masks. That was the thing. But it was like naka, because again the athletes were so stressed out and tired after the games. They will just say yes, but they won't understand anything. And then during that time, just being calm and then still guiding them and just making sure, I had decided, okay, I need the athletes to come together for these 3 photo shoots. I don't care what happens in between. I mean, many of the Japanese people, so again that micromanagement affected their that they were very stressed out. Oh my god, this is the system. It went out of the system and they were stressed out. So those things, they were happy to have me during such times. How can you be so quiet? Calm. So that's Indian speciality, right? Unfortunately, when Mirabai won, it was my day off. So I had to watch on TV. Again, there were many different experiences. Some athletes, it also depended on the country, from country to country. So some athletes were really reserved, some athletes were really free. And as I was saying about the human qualities, I got to experience so much at the backstage that the athletes would really collapse. And and it was like, oh my god, the Olympic is happening and I'm standing here and witnessing these amazing people, and who have, so for example, there was one athlete who won, I think she was from Georgia, and she had her name, her mother's name and someone else's name written on her hand when she took the medal. And then later I got to know that she lost both of them during the pandemic. So such were the backgrounds of some of the athletes, and it was amazing to witness all of that. So when the national anthem is playing and you are just standing there and you just become blank, that whatever we have seen on the TVs and whatever we just imagine to be is real. It's, these people are real. These butai, the stages are real. The most special thing about the ceremony is the victory ceremony dress, because most of the volunteers got what I'm wearing right now, the t-shirts, and they are amazing. It's a full kit of lots of t-shirts and jackets and trousers and everything, cap and water bottle and whatnot, even the masks with the name tag on each one of that. So it was again a very peculiar Japanese style. And then in addition to that, for the victory ceremony team, we had these beautiful victory ceremony gowns, and which were prepared in the traditional way of kasane. Kasane means to put on the layers. Then ori means folds. Then musubi is to tie. So there was obi means a belt, and kasane, ori, musubi, and then dyeing, soming. So this is the dress. So as I was saying, kasane, so there is a traditional style Japanese jacket. Then this is the dress. Then it was plated at the back side. It has beautiful plates. This is the ori, folding. Then this is musubi. So they have belts for everything, for the yukata, for kimono. For this also they had this traditional festive belts. So that is musubi. And then the dye is also the some. Its specialty about this is it fulfills all the SDG goals. Its material is also beautiful and very raku. So victory ceremony, all this process is just 10 minutes at the end of the full. So you can imagine how tired the athletes would be. We needed to stand by an hour before the ceremony, and with all the dressed up for the ceremony, and then as and when the athletes came, we needed to brief them one by one. So bronze, gold, silver, as they came, as and when. All I could think of is the slogan, how appropriate it was, united by emotions. And especially during the pandemic, the athletes, it was such a release of emotions for them. They felt so close together, because out of all the odds, with so much of distractions from the community, there were so many people against the event, and we all know about that. But for them it was their life, and there was nothing to fall back on. It was not like, okay, even if I don't do this, I am an engineer, so I could do this. It was life. It's life for them. So it was amazing to witness all of that. And it was more than the medals, the real athletes. Because there were so many athletes, it was happening around 2 hours before the main ceremony, but there were so many participants before that, and the way the athletes were encouraging each other was out of this world. They would encourage them so much. It was amazing to again witness this human quality. Again, it was all about emotions for me, what I saw with the people. If we usually see the very shallow side of Olympics, or I don't know, I had seen that side probably, that okay, this and this is happening, these are the sponsors, and then this much money is involved, and these athletes get this much, and then I mean, it's all about the yari tori and the general materialized world. But for most of them, it's about just giving out whatever they have, and that's why they could bring out all of that energy in from that human nature. It was very open, very transparent, it was not shallow, it was very deep. Like for instance, the psychological conditions, or for many athletes, we have seen that many athletes are recently talking, Naomi Osaka for example, are talking about mental health. And I like we have children, and we know how much they have to give even to achieve a small thing. And this here, they were like, they have to prove that they are world's best, but they are again ordinary people. So after they came back, and once they got to know that they won this medal, even if it was bronze, they didn't care. It was they would cry a lot. It was like complete collapse. They would just forget who they were. I had never seen such amusing thing. Like it's like you are allowed to express yourself. That's what I saw there, and no one would console them there. People would just allow them to be who they are. So it was so interesting. We can, even if we use like 1 or 2% of that energy for our children, it would be great. It would be amazing. We can cultivate their potential like 100 times more than what they are right now. I feel we all must just seek experiences out of life, because each one of us is a human being, again, ordinary human being, and irrespective of age or what role we have accepted as in the society, be it anything, but we should be open to anything that comes our way. At least for my personal self, whenever like I went out on a boat in my 40s, so that was the most unique experience I had in my life. And then this is the second best experience for me. So I would say just being open to experiences, just being open to life, and especially if you are learning a language, then use language as a tool, not to achieve anything, but just a tool of communication, just a tool to communicate, to connect with people, and then the experiences that you need will automatically come to you. You don't have to strive a lot to achieve anything in that case. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your experience.
ありがとうございました。